those of you who've been following along, we are going to continue on with the Xb Falcon Ute project. That's it, enough procrastination. We're going to get the cowl panel done.
Oh, come on.
Now obviously the first part of repairing any cowl panel is going to be to drain the radiator. Yes, that seems entirely related. So the reason that we are draining the radiator is because to get to the cowl panel I actually have to take out the heater core, heater assembly actually, which is in the dash, which has those two heater lines, and they're just going to leak all over my floor if I don't take it out first. But I'm thinking, not procrastinating, thinking that maybe we take the engine out, because then we have access to everything, and it's not procrastination if it's logical. Oh, this hasn't been off for a long time. That's so crunchy. The hose clamp's not even doing anything, it's just hanging out. Maybe take the top one out. Here we go. Oh, it also looks like rust and sadness. You could have gone into the bucket, at least a little. I feel like there should have been more water in there than that. Although most of it's on the floor. I got like 5 litres maybe in the bucket. Window squeegee is definitely not made for this, but it works quite well. Stop dripping! The amount of rust in these is just concerning. In fact, it's just not what you want to see. Yeah. This engine might have some corrosion issues. Now I do thoroughly enjoy, this doesn't have a fan shroud, which makes it really easy to take out. Also means the cooling efficiency was like 0. On the plus side, I wouldn't know, I never drove it enough for it to overheat. I don't grab a spanner when I have a socket. I do love these coarse thread radiator bolts because they're really easy to get out. They're also really hard to mix up and put back in the wrong spot. Tiny ineffective radiator. Out. I mean, well, it has compression. I probably should have checked that at some point, but we didn't. Oh yes, washer bottle. Just tech screw it to the guard. The next poor bastard, namely me, can't get it off there. And with 2 different screws, of course. Don't be silly now. Why would we do things that make sense? Barely in. So that's good. On the plus side, aside from the busted cap, washer bottle is in... Oh no, it's not in good condition because it's smashed off at the pump. Alright, let's get the battery tray out of the way because there's usually some rust or issues of some description under this. This one actually doesn't look that bad, if we're being honest. Battery tray can come out. So, the ground cable, which sucks, and the positive cable, which is also kind of sucky. Why is it has a regulator under the battery tray. That seems like the worst possible spot to put your regulator. Alright, let's go through and work out what wires connect to what. We'll disconnect all that business and then we will go from there. Alternator, it can come off. Then, pollution gear. And whatever that was that wasn't connected to anything. Cable ties. Conceptually, wonderful idea. In practice, pain in the ass. They can both go over there. We know that the heater tap is bad from last time. So we'll just kind of move it out the way. Huh. Interestingly, I think it's because the heater tap hasn't opened for years. The water coming out of the heater tap was okay. That was extra good rust water, that one. Ew. I would be willing to bet that the heater didn't work very well. Judging by that, I would say that our heater may have been ineffective. Much the same story on the other side. Oh, that's concerning is what that is. Why is there an extra nut bolt on the back of this? It's an XB thing. Must be. Because it's not on the other one. Get off. I like that the vent on this is not plumbed to anything. So that's great. Our PCB ball is still working, so that's, or PCB valve is still working, so that's cool. Disconnect our coil. You can, and our oil pressure. I'm assuming that's a ground. And this here must be our reversing switches. Oh Lord, which are heavily fused together. Come on. This is toxic dependence. You guys need a break. A little bit of time apart will do you good. I promise. Here we go. See?
Heater hose doesn't want to come off.
I don't want to ruin the core because, cores are expensive and stuff. And I do have a spare, I think. I'd really rather not have to use it. Had to cut it. Add heater hose to the list of stuff I need to get. Jarvis or Siri or whoever does my ordering for me. I'll forget. So stay tuned for that in another video where I forget that I need a heater hose and it halts the whole build for a day and a half. Fords, and they're 11 mil. It's not even 11. It's just a really loose 10, which makes it match an imperial size that I don't have on hand. You know what? I don't even need to take that out. It can just stay there. It looks good there. And we'll worry about that later. Don't take any of that. Don't steal my things, dog. Do you guys reinstall your small gear? Or at least pretend to? Like, is that something that we're doing? Especially being a late 74. This thing probably was right on the edge of emissions. So I might almost get away with not putting it back in. Which would be cool because it's ugly as hell. You know, if I didn't cut and edit my footage, it would be like 3 hours of just that. Just me dropping tools and swearing. You made it so you can get it out, but you can't get it out past all the heater shit. So you still got to take everything apart to get it out regardless. Just Ford things. And again with the just Ford things, these retainers for the heater assembly are 12 mil. I was going to say and really stuck on there, but those two came off really easy. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and then I think that's the 4th, which is just in the worst spot possible. I get enough rimmage in here to do this. Kind of early stages arthritis loves this so much. Oh, nope. And for all of you who are like, get a socket wrench, I have one. I just can't be bothered getting it. So, shh. We build cars to suffer. Take the punishment and enjoy it.
So the heater core came out no problem, but it left behind a whole heap of this insulation, so we had to scrape that out. Then it was just a matter of taking off all the miscellaneous lines and bits and pieces, disconnecting manifolds and things. These manifold bolts came out so easily, I was very impressed.
Let's get the bolts out of the bell housing. And then we'll separate the engine and gearbox, and then we'll pull the motor out. If of course I can get them out. Actually, it's always the top bell housing bolts are the worst because they're tight and there's no access. So here's something I would highly recommend. These are 6-ton jack stands, wide base. They've got a locking pin, which currently I don't have in, I've got to put in, but it means that you can be fairly confident, as long as you place them well, that you're not going to end up with a car dropping on your head. The other cool thing is they go up to like 600 mil, which is just slightly shorter than working under your average desk, which is way more comfortable than, you know, scooting around on the floor. So those bolts are loose, but not out. Again, loose but not out.
Now, for all of you that are going to say that using a tractor is cheating, I do have an engine crane, but I guarantee you, if you had a tractor, you would also use it. So I'm going to use it. Even if it means you've got to inherently risk that you might just bend something on the way up. Then it was just a matter of taking the linkages off the gearbox, taking the last few bolts out that I apparently missed, and then wrestling with this thing for like an hour to try and get it out without wrecking things. I decided that the brake master and booster could come out and just be out of the way, just because it made everything a little bit cleaner. And then we went back to trying to pull out the pedal box, which I gave up on earlier. Get it out. Because it just did not want to cooperate.
So pedal box is out of the way, so now it's just accelerator pedal and steering column. Accelerator pedal can also go sit over there. Alright, that's the steering column. I can join the rest of the parts that I'm going to work out later. I'm going to collect all the bits so I can forget where they went. Notice I need a couple of new bushings and such. So the loom can stay. I think even the clutch assembly can stay. I don't think I need to move any of that. Apparently the return spring on the accelerator was not connected. That would explain why the pedal was so floppy. I have now free access to pretty much everything under the dash. That's good. Excellent.
And then because I'm a child, I got distracted and went and looked at something else.
Spare wheel door is stuck. And that mechanism, I have a couple of keys here. None of them work. But I did discover this. So luckily for me, this thing has a couple of rust holes. When we look down here, we can see the mechanism. You can also see that it's broken. So, the plan is, if I can get a tool in there, potentially we can pop it open. Luckily, have a set of these rods. Got it. Crispy. I'm a little nervous to put my hand in there, if we're being honest. See. At least it matches the others. Oh, it's heavy and distorted. Well, the side of the tray looks good though. Look at that. That's excellent. Dirty, but excellent. I wonder if it still holds there. think it does. Definitely have a tube in it.
I'm really nervous that this is going to just explode in my face.
That's a little terrifying. Yeah, we might not use that as a spare, unfortunately. Okay, so now I've got everything cleared out from the dash. We're back to finding spot welds so we can remove this lower cowl panel. As the brush takes bits off, it breaks apart and makes it look even worse. Is there supposed to be a joint there, or is it just, this is braze welded in? I didn't think bronzing was used all that much on factory. Oh, this is so pitted I can't see where the factory spot welds would be. I know where I think they would be, but that doesn't really mean a huge amount. Look, I think there's one there, but I'm not sure. I bought these spot weld drill bits from Amazon or AliExpress or something, so we'll see how they go. So far they cut good. Stuff is so thin, it's ridiculous. It's terrible. This is going to be a look, test, carry on here, because I can't see nothing.
So this whole upper section was just a mess. It was thin like tin foil and kept folding up on itself, and I could not work out for the life of me where spot welds were. So I kind of just had to do the best I could.
So it's got bronze welding all the way through here, which I'm guessing is where they've repaired it previously. Interested to see actually if it's got it on the other side, but it runs like down through here. So what we might do is we might just nick from here around, but keep going along these ones and try and just free all this up as much as we can. So an air hammer's good. I have an air hammer. Done a couple of spot welds and we've just chewed the teeth right out of it. They work, but they're not hardy, which is okay. We didn't really expect them to be. They were like $4. Now I'm fairly confident that this has been repaired because it doesn't have the same shape as the other side. That is free. It's still hung up over there somewhere, so let's go and look at that. Kind of. That's it. That's got it. Alright, we're free. Let's look at the carnage. At least it gives us really good floor access. With the cowl out now, we can see that it's still bad, but it's not as bad as it could have been. It's kind of the ongoing story with this car. It could be worse, but it's not good. So you can see here we've got quite a lot of structure that's very, very weak, very flimsy or missing entirely. You can see just in through here. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be more solid than this. And that little bit of rust there should have been a giveaway, but it runs right through, so I'll have to do something about that. When we look along the top of this here, again, it's, in some places it's really good, like here. Get to here and it's really thin, so we'll have to do something about reshaping and remaking all this, just to try and fix that up. But it feels like we're going in the right direction. That's a bonus. That's a positive. Look how much access we have to do the floors. I actually might do the floors first now. maybe, but I want the rigidity of having the cowl back in to be able to do that. The other thing I'm kind of excited about is we get the opportunity to treat all this stuff here. We can blast down the firewall. We can make it all look bonita again. Because making this all look pretty and then having a gross, rusty looking engine bay probably would have upset me. Well, this is probably about all the time I've got for making a mess today. But I know it looks like we're making it worse. But I think we're getting somewhere. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. If you're enjoying this series, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see something, let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.